righty, our guest today is a 6-foot guard from the University of Iowa, the NCAA all-time Division I scoring leader, the first pick of the WNBA draft, WNBA assist leader, all-star, and 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year.
You know how they say success is the best revenge? Well, what's happening in the WNBA right now is basically that saying come to life. We've got Caitlin Clark, who's absolutely crushing it, breaking records, selling out arenas, casually hanging with Taylor Swift at NFL games.
Well, Taylor Swift, of course, but sitting next to her, that's our Caitlin Clark.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Remember those critics who doubted her?
Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now? Immediately? Absolutely not.
And players who tried to tear her down?
And all of a sudden, we're pretty close. This has been as close as it's been. Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
Let's just say they're not having the best time right now. And trust me, the irony here is just too delicious to ignore. On one side, you've got Caitlin Clark, dropping 20 points per game, leading the league in assists, and turning the Indiana Fever into one of the hottest tickets in town. On the other hand, you've players like Angel Reese and Kennedy Carter, whose off-court issues and struggles with team dynamics are destroying their careers. So grab a seat because this story has everything. Drama, redemption, social media meltdowns, and a masterclass in how to let your game do the talking. Let me break it down for you. When Clark stepped onto the court for her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, she didn't just meet the sky-high expectations, she shattered them.
She's the real deal. Listen, I believed in her from day one. You knew that she would only get better.
20 points, 8.4 assists, and 6 rebounds per game only tell part of the story. What Clark brought to Indiana was something much bigger. Hope, viewers, and a level of excitement that transformed a struggling franchise into must-watch basketball.
The official homepage of the WNBA right now, when they announce this schedule, is a photo of Caitlin Clark, and that's it. It's only Caitlin, it's not any other players, it's not any other teams. The fact that they are seemingly leaning into her finally, at the very off the rip, leaning into her, like having her front and center, this is just something that I don't think that we would have seen last season, and I just think it's great.
The numbers paint a clear picture. Historic viewership numbers, merchandise flying off shelves. The ripple effects extend beyond Indiana. Other WNBA teams are seeing increased attendance when the Fever come to town. League merchandise sales have hit record highs, with Clark's jersey becoming the fastest-selling rookie jersey in WNBA history. More importantly, television networks are adjusting their broadcasting schedules to feature more Fever games, leading to unprecedented primetime exposure for women's basketball. The Fever responded by going all in on the Clark era, breaking ground on a $78 million practice facility, and locking down veteran guard Kelsey Mitchell with a core qualifying offer. ESPN's WNBA expert Michael Vopel put it perfectly. The appeal of playing with young stars Clark and Boston, plus the fan excitement around Indiana now, will help the Fever land a big name in free agency or via trade, something that would have seemed very unlikely a couple of years ago. But beneath Clark's meteoric rise lies a story of unprecedented pressure, as Rachel Demita pointed out on the Courtside Club podcast.
There can be women who are older than you, better than you on your team, but if they see that you are a young star and you're doing really well, they will do whatever they can do to sabotage your success.
This is where the story takes an interesting turn. Remember Angel Reese, who made headlines for taunting Clark during that infamous LSU-Iowa game? While Clark was declining a $100,000 offer from the unrivaled league to focus on training, Reese was dealing with her own social media meltdown. A controversial New Year's Eve post led to massive backlash, culminating in Reese deleting her entire Instagram account. Then there's Kennedy Carter, another Clark hater learning some hard lessons. Despite leading the Chicago Sky and scoring with 17.5 points per game last season, Carter was let go due to offensive style and locker room identity issues. Deeper reporting from the Chicago Tribune's Julia Poe revealed that Carter's isolation-heavy style created friction with the team's efforts to develop their young stars. The contrast couldn't be more striking. While Clark pushes her team toward the playoffs under new head coach Stephanie White, her critics are navigating team chemistry issues and social media controversies. She's building her brand through excellence on the court and professionalism off it, no stunts needed. Looking ahead to the next season, the paths continue to diverge. The Fever are actively pursuing defensive talent to complement their offensive firepower. After years of rebuilding, the franchise is no longer content with just making the playoffs. They want a championship, but can they truly turn potential into greatness? Now, Caitlin Clark is obviously the star everyone's watching, but even Clark can't carry this load alone. Recognizing this, the Fever have made bold moves, completely revamping their front office and bringing in a new head coach who knows how to win when it matters most. Stephanie White, the Fever's new leader, isn't here to rebuild. She's here to dominate. After leading the Connecticut Sun to back-to-back WNBA semifinals, she's bringing her defensive expertise to Indiana. White has already declared her confidence in the Fever's young core, even going so far as to call Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston a historically great duo. High praise, no doubt, but can she turn that belief into reality? Before we continue, kindly like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
We have seen in this league's history, how difficult it is to win a championship. The margin for error is small.
In an interview on 107.5, The Fan's Wake-Up Call, White shared her vision for reshaping the Fever. First and foremost, we set the expectation. If you want to be on the floor, you're going to be expected to defend. It's not about being an elite one-on-one defender, it's about being part of a great defensive team. Defense has been Indiana's Achilles heel, and that's putting it lightly. Last season, they ranked 11th out of 12 teams in defensive rating, a glaring problem for a team with championship aspirations. Every WNBA champion since 2010 has ranked in the top 6 defensively, so if the Fever are serious about contending, they need drastic improvement on this end of the floor. Stephanie White knows this better than anyone. She's already laying the groundwork for a defensive transformation, emphasizing ball pressure, execution in multiple schemes, and relentless effort. For her, defense isn't about individual brilliance, but about a collective commitment to excellence.
The margin for error is small. When you're building teams, it's not about always just getting the best players. It's about getting the best complement of players who fit well together, who play well with one another, who work to bring the best out in one another.
The Fever's roster has the pieces to make this happen. Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Hull all have the potential to be solid defenders. Let me tell you this, Fever fans should feel excited. Stephanie White knows how to win in Indiana. Back in 2015, she coached the Fever to the WNBA Finals with a top 5 defense. Now, she's back, with an even more talented roster and a clear vision for success. Under Coach Stephanie White's guidance, the Fever have implemented an innovative training program that combines traditional basketball development with modern analytics and sports science. Clark's presence has attracted top-tier training staff and medical professionals who might have previously opted for NBA positions.
The franchise is great. The fans, the people I've met, has been awesome. Just overall, it's been a blast. It really has. And then also working with Caitlin Clark every day has been.
The result is a professional environment that rivals any in professional sports. But let's circle back to the hostility Clark has faced from other players.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark.
While some players are busy chasing likes and retweets, Clark's out there breaking records and changing minds about what women's basketball can be. And here's the thing about Clark. She makes it look effortless. No drama, no Twitter beef, just pure basketball brilliance. Angel Reese blew up on social media last year. She had more followers at first, but guess who's got the big endorsement deals now? Clark. Because while drama might get you trending for a day, consistency gets you those long-term contracts. We're talking Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, the kind of deals WNBA players used to only dream about. And let's talk about Chennedy Carter for a second. Talented? No doubt. But teams are literally passing on her because she's not worth the headache. Even with all that skill, she can't get a minimum contract. That's what makes Clark so different. She lets her game do the talking, and teams are listening. The WNBA is catching on too. Have you heard about the new teams coming in 2026? Golden State and Nashville are jumping in, and they're straight up calling it the Clark effect. That's not just hype. That's cold, hard business sense. These cities didn't just wake up one day and decide to start women's basketball teams. They saw the packed arenas, the TV ratings, the merch sales, all because one player decided to change the game by simply being exceptional at it. At the end of the day, Clark isn't trying to prove anybody wrong. She's just out there setting the bar higher, showing everyone what happens when you combine ridiculous talent with old school work ethic. No drama needed, just buckets and broken records. That's the thing about Clark. She's not changing the game by trying to change it. She's changing it by being so good at it that everyone else has to level up. And honestly, that's way more impressive than any viral moment could ever be. She's not just the future of women's basketball, she's the blueprint for how to become a legend in any sport. Now, the story of Clark's revenge isn't over. In the link below, check out how Caitlin Clark herself showed another WNBA bully who the boss is. Thanks for watching.